our Swamiji has graced this wonderful essence of all dharma. And we start by saying we surrender to our beloved Swamiji's feet so that we can understand a little bit, because this is an ocean. Whatever we say, this is the meaning, is hardly a minuscule part of this ocean called Kali Dharma Undiyar. Each time you read Kali Dharma Undiyar, it will give you a deeper meaning. Why? Because Vedas are infinite. And so the interpretation of Kali Dharma Undiyar is also infinite, which we are all discovering. Now, each day we look at it, something new is coming from Kali Dharma Undiyar. Such is the greatness and depth and beauty and the sweetness of this Madhura Geetam called Kali Dharma Undiyar. With the immense blessings of our beloved Guru Maharaj, Maharanyam Shri Muralidhara Swamiji, and our divine couple, Madhuri Sakhi Sameta Premikavarda Thakurji's immense blessings, we are exploring Kali Dharma Undiyar, a lovely work in Tamil, which is the essence of all scriptures in showing us the right path for the current age. Dharma can be known only from scriptures. And our Swamiji has taken the essence of Prasthana Trayam, all the Upanishad Saram, all the Bhagavad Gita Saram, and the Brahma Sutra Saram, to show that the path of Nama Sankirtana is the path of Dharma in Kali. So this whole Kali Dharma Undiyar is an expansion of half a verse in our Swamiji's song, Madhura Geetam, Vedatin Saram Hariyin Namam. Yedu Mayyam Illai Iduve Thinnam. So our Swamiji said, Bhagyam Ullore Varungal, in that song, Vedatin Saram Hariyin Namam, Yedum Ayyam Illai Iduve Thinnam Bhagyam Ullore Varungal Parandaman Pugal Pada. So when he says Vedatin Saram Hariyin Namam, Yedum Ayyam Illai Iduve Thinnam, which means there is no place for any doubt. This is certain. Didam Idu. This is certain, without any doubt, that the essence of all Vedas is in chanting the Harinam. Now, when people ask, how are you saying, Swamiji, that essence of Vedas is singing Harinam, and you are saying it is well established, etc. For them, the explanation for that half the charanam in that song, Bhagyam Ullere Varangal, is this Kali Dharma Undiyar, that it is the essence of all scriptures. And since it is Vedatin Saram Hariyin Namam, and since it's a Dharma Undiyar, we should see it in the light of Dharma and Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavatam, Ramayanam, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra only. And that is the reason why our Swamiji has graced this wonderful essence of all Dharma. And we start by saying we surrender to our beloved Swamiji's feet so that we can understand a little bit, because this is an ocean. Whatever we say, this is the meaning, is hardly a minuscule part of this ocean called Kali Dharma Undiyar. Each time you read Kali Dharma Undiyar, it will give you a deeper meaning. Why? Because Vedas are infinite. And so the interpretation of Kali Dharma Undiyar is also infinite, which we are all discovering. Now, each day we look at it, something new is coming from Kali Dharma Undiyar. Such is the greatness and depth and beauty and the sweetness of this Madhura Geetam called Kali Dharma Undiyar. Mulari Mukamalarndu Madhura Kali Dharma Mamudinai Arulinai Undi Para Muralidhara Regaran Undi Para. And our Swamiji started by saying, the 4 yugas, Kali Yuga's dharmam is Namam Ondre Poduma. You don't need the support of any other path in this path of Nama Sankirtanam. And we also saw in the other yugas path, whatever be the path, without Nama, that path cannot be full. Nama is an independent path, Swadantramana or path, which gives us all we require. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksham, everything. Mannulaga Asai, Vinnulaga Asai. And so he is saying, Kali Yugatil Nama Mondre Poduma. Poduma means for everything. For my well-being, for my health, for my emotional well-being, for my intellectual well-being, for my spiritual well-being, up to Tannamami Harim Param, up to our moksha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Bhakti, everything our Harinama can give. So our Swamiji very certainly, with certainty, he says, Kali Yugatil Namam Ondre Podumam. And then he starts with the salutation to Bhagavan, the one who does the creation, sustenance and dissolution of the universe. Muttoil Purindum Puriyadirukkum Mudalva Sharanam Undipara Muktiki Vittiduvai Undipara. And hence, our Swamiji says that of the three work which Bhagavan does, sustenance of the universe happens just because of Bhagavan. And he says, Virodamam ஐம்பூதங்கள் ஒழுங்கில் இருப்பதால் விரோதம் இயற்கைவாதம் உந்திப்பர விரோதமாம் நாஸ்திகமும் உந்திப்பர. Some of you who are listening may belong to the Samaveda portion of Vedas. In Samavedam, just like how when we say hands have a different function, legs have a different function, walk has a different function, eyes have a different function. In spite of it, because it is all coming together in form of a body, which is controlled by an Antaryami, which is Bhagavan, our inner controller, everything is working in coordination. Otherwise, why should hand work when the stomach is hungry? Stomach says, I want food, but it is the hand which plucks an apple and eats it. And so all the organs of the body are coordinated because there is somebody inside. And the same principle is there in Chandogya Upanishad. And that principle is called Vaishvanara Vidya. And it says entire universe with the 5 elements plus 2, sun and one more, is actually Vaishvanaran. It is the body of Vaishvanara. And since when there is an indweller, then all the body parts work perfectly. Likewise, the 5 elements with all these sun, etc., all the 7 aspects of this universe is all Vaishvanara. And since it's all controlled by one Andavan called Vaishvanaran, this whole universe has order in it, says Chandogya Upanishad. And Swamiji, that's why he's hinting the Chandogya Upanishad by showing Andavan illamal agharam kadaikalam kadaitadu jerikana, the one who actually digests the food is Vaishvanara. So our Swamiji says the same Vaishvanara which is controlling the whole universe is also our inner controller, who also happens to be the Vaishvanara to digest the food which we eat. And hence that which is outside, the one who controls this world, and hence there is order in this world, also controls our body. Rendume Vaishvanara Vidya. Both are Vaishvanara's, Vidya. And so he says, because Bhagavan is inside, everything happens perfectly in this body also. And all the organs are working in coordination because of Antaryami. And whatever we eat is digested because of Antaryami. And then our Swamiji goes on to talk about Bhagavan can be experienced and the rest. Now, yesterday, we saw up to Pujai Purohitam Puranam Ivayallam Panatirkendra Pin Undi Para Payanana Ivatral Rundi Para. 15th verse. And now we were looking at the Sharanagati, the final surrender. Our Kali Dharma Undiyar started with surrender only. Na? Mudalva Sharanam Undipara. Surrender is the highest, no doubt about it. Sharanagati dam osati. But then he said, even that Sharanagati has to be done properly. Na? Sharanagati has to be lived. It is a state of being in surrender, not doing, thinking surrender. And why to talk about saying? When our Swamiji says that solvadarku elidam, seivadarku aridamna enna arthomna, this state of surrender is just a state of being in the state of surrender to Bhagavan. Avan aati vaika naan aadugindren. Our Swamiji has written so many kirtans about surrender. That is the love he has for Sharanagati. That is the final goal for all of us, to be in complete state of surrender to the divine will and Guru's will. But for that, he is going to say there is something required for that. And he is starting by how a person of this world is suffering. First, we should know now. We are born here. First, we are born in the womb of a mother. We undergo tremendous suffering in the womb of the mother. And they say whatever the mother eats, in Vishnu Purana it is said, whatever the mother eats actually affects the child. And even if there are small itches for the child in the womb, it is not able to correct anything. tremendous pain, both for the mother and the child. And the moment the child is born, it is now in a helpless state. It does not know how to say I'm hungry. It does not know how to say I'm thirsty. Even if some insect comes and bites the hand, it's not able to shoo away the insect. All it knows is only cry, 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 dukkha. You see? And then the child grows up. What happens when the child grows up a bit? Now it has forgotten. When it is in the womb, it seems it has the memory of all the earlier janma at least. The moment that there is a force which forces us out not to see the whole world, and the force there is a name for that force. And when it comes out, when it sees, it forgets everything. It forgets all the earlier janma, its aspiration in the womb, hoping that this should be my last janma. But the moment it's born, it seems it forgets everything. Bhagavan gives it a complete, he hides all the memory out. Shatam per, that force which pushes the child out, it's called Shatam. And so here what happens is, once it comes out and it becomes a young boy, now it is able to understand the world, etc. It is now engaging completely in games, all these little frivolous activities. Bala Balastavat Krida Saktaha. And then it goes out to be a young man or a young woman. Immediately this tremendous attraction towards the opposite gender takes over. Tarunastavad Taruni Saktaha. So the time is also gone, youth is gone. Vruddhastavat Chinta Saktaha. Parame Brahmani Kopi Nasaktaha. And then standing on our own legs, supporting the family, livelihood, and again constantly worries, will I get my salary, will I work properly, will there be any problem in my work? So that part of our middle age is constantly gone in earning, livelihood, poch. And finally in the old age, Vruddhastavad Chinta Sakta. The old age is filled with repentance, the old age is filled with regret, old age is filled with so much hurt accumulated over so many years. Even the person who hurt is no longer alive in the body, but we continue that hurt. And then our Adishankara Bhagavad-pada says, Parame Brahmani Kopina Saktaha. For us to attain Bhagavan, nobody gets that attachment in the path for us to attain Bhagavan. Why? Ada Maya. That's what is the constant engagement with this Maya, it is said. And so our Adishankara Bhagavad-pada is coming to the same conclusion as our Swamiji. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. Why Mudamate? Balastavat Krida Saktaha, Mudamate. Tarunastavad Taruni Saktaha, Mudamate. Vruddhastavat Chinta Saktaha, Mudamate. Parame Brahmani Kopina Saktaha Nirkadnala, Bhaja Govindam. That's the only way for you. So here, this is how we have been going millions of lives. Boldly we can say, we are all like that only. Millions of lives we have gone. Whatever karma we do, we experience a little bit of the karma pala as punya, papa here. Always there will be a residue. Then the residue is actually sent us to Narakam and Swargam. Whatever positive and negative experiences above, where our ethereal body or what is called a subtle body or Sukshma Sariram or Yatana Sariram, that goes. Only the physical body is dropped. We have our subtle body, Pranamaya Shariram. We have Manomaya Shariram, Vijnanamaya Shariram, Anandamaya Shariram, Jivan, Elam. And then it will experience a little bit of trouble in Narakam, little bit of joy in Swargam. There will always be a Baki. It will come back again. And next Janma, again it goes around. Even in this Janma, till it is in the womb of a human womb, it still remembers the moment it comes on Mardach. Again, forgot. Vismara. Again, cycle. The cycle. Bhagavan is watching all that. And Bhagavan thought, somehow, this chap has to be taken out of this samsaram. He's waiting for an opportunity. Bhagavan also needs an excuse. No excuse. And he's watching our credit balance called punyam. He's watching our debit balance called papam. Bhagavan. Somehow I have to take care of him. And then when the credit balance become a little better for that person, Bhagavan, what he does, kenapi punyaleshena satsangam samubhagataha shrutva bhagavatam dharmam kamayete padam bhujam. Sri Anna says, kenapi punyaleshena. Bhagavan sees some bhagyam is there. He encashes this little punyalesha. See, compared to moksham, any punyam is only a small amount. It's only minuscule amount. Compared to infinity, any big number you can think about is always a small number. Even if you put a million zeros, infinity enga irukku million zeros, one followed by million zeros. Is it a big one? Infinity is completely in a different dimension. So whatever punya we did is alpam only. But Bhagavan out of Kripa looks at kenapi punya leshena bhagyodayena bahujanma samarchitena. He looks at all this punya, collects that punya, and then out of Bhagavat Kripa, what he says, satsangam samupagataha. So if we are all in a satsanga, Bhagavan out of his Kripa has encashed tremendous punya so that we can get ananta palan. So that is the preciousness of satsanga. And once that Bhagavan gives that satsanga, then he goes to a Acharyan, he goes to a Mahatma because of the Bhagyam, and then he listens to Dharma Undiyar. Whichever way that Mahatma explains Dharma, he listens. Shrutva Bhagavatam Dharmam. He listens to Dharma. And adana Dharma Undiyar dane. This is Bhagavata Dharma Undiyar dane. Kali Dharma Undiyar na Bhagavata Dharma Undiyar. So here, Shrutva Bhagavatam Dharmam Kamayete Pada Appada. We realize there is something beyond what I see, what I experience in this world. There is something beyond this world. Appada, we get this little samskaram. It's called Shastra Vasana. Whether we read Vedas or not doesn't matter. Shastra Vasana has been accumulated over so many janmas. And so, when our Guru Maharaj says, Virodama Maimbudhangal, ஒழுங்கில் இருப்பதால் விரோதம் இயற்கை வாதம்னா எஸ் தோணும். Till we get that bhagyam, you tell that to a person who is never having any tendency of satsanga, would he accept? He wouldn't. Why? Because vasana, samskaram is not there. So Bhagavan collects that bhagyam and sends us to a satsanga. This is a parama tattva of our satsanga. In all the three, I already quoted Shadi Shankara Bhagavad-pada. What I am telling right now is all Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Advaita Sampradaya is Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti Adeda. Only the form differs. Allah Sampradaya, all Sampradayas fold their hands when it comes to Satsanga. You see? And so what Bhagavan does, he pushes into our Satsanga. And then he realizes that the real nature of Bhagavan, that I am ruled by Bhagavan. This world is also ruled by Bhagavan. For both Prakriti and Jivan, which is me, Ishwaran is Bhagavan. Pradhana Puruseshwarahan, he realizes or she realizes. And that's why Andavan illamal aharam kedaikalam kedaitadu jarika vendrundi para Andavan. Not only for the world, I am also ruled by Bhagavan. Without Bhagavan, I can do nothing. And then he understands, as Bhagavan tells in Bhagavad Gita, Sugrutam sarva bhutanam, Sugrutam sarva bhutanam. That Bhagavan is the best friend for all human beings. He understands that Bhagavan is trying to take us forward. And so we need to cooperate a little bit with Guru and Bhagavan. And then he realizes that he creates this universe. Tondriyadu aliyum, alindadu tondrum, tondri aliyum undi para. And marupadarkillai he is saying, so Bhagavan is creating the whole universe out of his daya, compassion, so that we get all the indriyas, we get buddhi, we get manas, we get chintanam, we get vivekam. And at least at some point of time, let us continue doing punyam. Knowingly or unknowingly, somehow we'll do punyam. Now, Bhagavan is waiting for the right quantum of punyam to accumulate. And then Bhagavan says, now nobody will question me. I will use this punyam to give him something which he doesn't even know to ask. Have anybody of us, first time when he went to a satsanga, wanted satsanga? This Bhagavan, first step in taking us to his feet is done always by Bhagavan, which is the whole point of our Bhagavan having Murali out here. Muralidharannale enna arthomna, unless he takes out his murali and plays the tune, nobody is attracted towards him. The first call for the jiva comes from Bhagavan, which is in tune with Kathopanishad also. It says only people who have been beckoned by Bhagavan can go na. Enna artham na? It doesn't mean we absolve ourselves of all responsibility. If Bhagavan wants, let him call. That's not what it is. It means right now, whatever little bhakti I am doing, whatever little satsang I am involving myself, understand that to be the call of Bhagavan. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that I will take it as a comfortable decision for me not to do anything which is spiritual. When Bhagavan eduthukitona abla eduthuka maatan. Avan vandu nirapeksham. You see? And the first call he has done. So Bhagavan first created this universe, hoping that the jiva would understand there is order in the universe. Who is Bhagavan? Who is he? Abdinu oru chintana varumni he hoped. But then the jivas got so much immersed in the very simple pleasures of this universe that their chintana or vichara did not go beyond my stomach, my life. Bhagavan is like a achar. I want this to happen, Bhagavan. Will you serve me for that? That's Bhagavan. And my relationship with Bhagavan was purely with what I need, what I desire, what I wanted. If I get it, Bhagavan. If I don't get it, Bhagavan illa. So when our perspective becomes very limited, Bhagavan understood, it's not enough. What will the jivas do? I need to give them shastras. So Tene, Brahma, Hridaya, Adi Kavaye, his intelligence he revealed in form of shastras. And hope that when people read those shastras, Veda, Upanishad, etc., they will get the right understanding, understand the body. This world is not the end of jiva or soul. Bhagavad Charanam is the end of jiva or soul. But what happened, all the shastras, people started reading. Some of them, very rarely, a few understood what shastras spoke and did the sadhana, attained Bhagavan. Most of them thought that this reading itself is enough. And so it didn't work out. Then Bhagavan thought, just giving shastra is not important. Let me send all these sages to make sure that they actually tell about shastras also. Even that didn't work. Then, just like how when a Raja keeps sending all his ministers and nothing works, he sent Dharma Shastra through Manu, he sent a lot of these Vedas through Rishis, and he gave 18 Smritis with various Rishis, nothing worked. Then Bhagavan thought, unless I myself come and take care of these people, it won't work. So Bhagavan himself came down as Ramachandra Prabhu, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna Martyavadarastiva Martya Sikshanam. And then he hoped that looking at my life, they will follow some dharma, satyam, dharmam, vishwasam, all that they will have. But unfortunately, even when Bhagavan came as Ramachandra Prabhu, of all the wonderful auspicious qualities Bhagavan had, they managed to pick out 1 or 2 defects which is in their eye, not with Ramachandra Prabhu, and started debating on that. And Bhagavan thought, if I come as a human only, it's a problem. Now I will come as Bhagavan. Next Janma, right from the day, Piranda Naal Mudal, our Bhagavan started showing Tannai, Bhagavan, Bhagavan என்று பறைசாற்றி கொண்டானே. Bhagavan came and showed, I am Bhagavan, I am Vasudeva, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padmam, Sriya, Jushtam, Chaturbhujam, I am Bhagavan. Everybody had no even inkling of a doubt that it is Bhagavan. Including Shishupala knows that, Dantavaktra know that. In spite of that, people started opposing Bhagavan, people started abusing Bhagavan, not during his time, to this day. People started asking what Krishna did, is it right or wrong? Now they are debating that also. Then Bhagavan thought, whatever we do, it is not working at all. What is the final way out for these people? You see? And finally, our Bhagavan said, if you are not able to do anything at all, don't worry. Sarva dharman paridhyajya mahamekam sharanam. Bhagavan showed karma marga, Bhagavan showed yoga marga, Bhagavan showed jnana marga, Bhagavan showed bhakti marga. Edume mudiyala. I am not able to do this. Okay, finally, hold on to my feet. I will come and take care of you. Adana charama slokam Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavan says, surrender to me, I will take care of you. So that's where we are right now. Let's understand the various parts of our Swamiji is hinting each of these things. Bhagavan decided that he has to show a path to himself. Who else will show? Only the owner of the house, when he wants to invite people to his house for the first time. Because if you go to that house, you don't have to come back. The vidana is da. Once you go to Vaikuntham, you don't have to come back. Na? So people who go there don't come back. And so Bhagavan decided the roadmap for my home, I have to only tell. Na? So he gave a lovely roadmap. He created a road, proper path, lighted path, Pradipam, where people are not lost in any darkness. They know the road. It is lighted, properly street lighted road. And then first choice, he gave a lovely vehicle. First choice. Road na you need a vandi na. What vandi was it na? It was a vandi called karma car. And the karma car can actually take us to Bhagavan. But unfortunately, the karma car was actually fire powered. You see, how the energy car. The energy required by the car, the lovely first vehicle called karma, is fire. It runs by fire. But then we have to fill the fuel. Unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, we don't have the fuel to feed the fire which take the karma vehicle right to Bhagavan. So our Swamiji says, Velviyattrida Vendiyadhiraviyam Indru Kittumo Undipara Kitadadil Vine Endru Undipara. That vehicle called karma, which is called karma yoga, it is fire powered by fire, Agni. Because whatever we do as a karma is always offered to Agni. And our Swamiji says, Devas, they live in Agni, they are born in Agni, and finally they die in Agni. Agni is their medium. And for that he gave a lovely example in Upadesa Undiyar. In that he says, suppose you want to feed the fishes in the pond. Where would you throw the grains? You can't throw it on the sand. The fishes can't come and take it. You can't just throw it in the air somewhere. Fishes can't fly and take it. If you want to feed the fish, you have to feed it in a place where it lives. And fishes live in water, so you offer that puri or you offer that inflated rice, popped rice into that little lake where the fishes live, and fishes can take that, that whatever we offer to it, and it can survive. Likewise, when you have a terrestrial animal like a dog, etc., if you want to feed the dog, you can't throw it in the pond. You have to feed it where it stays, which is in that terrestrial place. Likewise, Devas, they reside only in Agni. Agni Mayatla Arkava. So if you want to supplicate Devas, who are but the various parts of Paravasudeva, Indra is the hand of Vasudeva. So if you want to feed the hand of Vasudeva as an offering in Karma Yoga, you have to feed it only in Agni. Because Indra is born in Agni, he lives in Agni, and he finally dies in Agni as far as we are concerned here, when pacifying him, when we want to propitiate him. So we put a little havis in the Agni, and in the Agni, Agni is a carrier, courier. It will take all these havis, and whichever mantra we have uttered, the Agni knows how to give it to those Devas, you see. So for this vehicle, for us to take us up to the destination, on the road shown by Bhagavan, the road is Vedas, and the first sadhana is Karma Marga or Karma Yoga. And for us to get into this vehicle called Karma Yoga, into the car called Karma Yoga, it has to be fire powered. For that, we have to give Dravyam, which means even for us to offer the sacred offering into the Agni, we don't have the proper Dravyam now. How will the car move? So it doesn't work. If you put something else into, instead of petrol, you put water, because both are liquid only, car won't move. In fact, it will burn. Likewise, if you don't put the proper havis to Agni Karyam, instead of giving us positive results, it may even lead us to adverse results. We can't play around with that. So the first car, Velviyattrida Vendiyadhiraviyam Indru Kittumo Undipara Kittada Dhalvine Endrundipara. Fire-powered karma car didn't work. Then the next Bhagavan thought, chalo, if that doesn't work, it should work for the next one. Chalo, I will send you a wind-powered. Wind energy. So he sent another lovely vehicle which is wind-powered. And that vehicle was called Yoga car. And yoga is powered by pranayam. So it is wind power, air power. But to enter into the car, you have to fill a big form. And the entry criteria is already headache. Yamam, niyamam, the first form. if you don't qualify, they won't make you enter into the car. And second, they said, when you sit in the car, proper. If you don't regulate your breath in the car won't move. And so they said, too many rules inside. You can sit here, you can't sit there. You have to sit like that. Rules of seating. Adan asana siddhi. That itself, sir, this chair is not comfortable. When we can't even have asana siddhi, how can we travel in this car? And the second thing is, we have to keep regulating our breath. Otherwise, the car won't move. If you don't regulate properly, reverse order. And so, asana pranayama may fail. Entry criteria where you fill in a form to get into the car, that itself fail. Yaman. And then they said, while going in the car, there will be wonderful scenery both sides. The moment gone, you will be thrown out of a running car. Buddhi pedalikum undi. If you are distracted, if you don't do it properly, it is going to really affect, it will hurt our even intellectual capacity properly. That's why he said, Niyamangal nirainda yoga margatil niyamam tavarinal undi para buddhi pedalikum yendru undi para. So, niyamam means our entry criteria. Yaman, niyama itself, we can't follow properly. How can we can't even get into the car first, though we want to. Everybody wants to do yoga now. But to get inside, we have to follow the criteria. The immigration check, they will throw it out. You can't enter the car, go. So, kashtam. And even if we manage to somehow get in, grease some hands and get in, what happens is, while going, we have to be very careful. If you don't sit properly, if you don't breathe properly, if you don't do yoga properly, we may be pushed out of a running car, which means tremendously will be hurt. And our Swamiji says, Buddhi pedalikum, we will get into some neurological issues if you don't do it properly. So that is also out. So Bhagavan showed first, karma margam difficult, we don't have dravyam, so the car won't run without fuel. The second margam is called yoga margam. That yoga margam is, he tells that in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Shastram. So Bhagavad Gita is Upanishad Dharma Shastram. Bhagavad Gita su Upanishadsu Yoga Shastre. It's a Yoga Shastra. So here our yoga also doesn't work. Why? Because we are not fit for it, most of us. And then Bhagavan said, okay, I will give you another vehicle, very difficult for you to catch. There in Chennai at times, not in Chennai, in Delhi, some buses won't stop at all. It will come little slow. You see, otherwise you'll miss the bus. If you don't hold the bar properly, you will miss everything. You see. So, during our earlier days, I remember, people don't say stop. They will say roke chaliyo. Stop. You see. Jnana vehicle is like that. First of all, pidi padade kashtama. This Atma Vicharam, to hold on to understand how do I hold on to Atma Vicharam, to do it itself is subtle. So this vehicle does not stop and say, please come, ticket. Wait for the another round. So there is a Jnana, another lovely vehicle. Bhagavan sent it, Jnana Margam. And how is this powered? It is powered by the subtle mind power. You see. When the mind becomes subtler and subtler, this car is powered. It goes faster and faster. But then only one problem. Generally, when we go in a flight, etc., we look for the menu card. And there will also be a little air conditioning. In the car, no menu card, no air conditioning. You have to sweat your way through the whole journey. You have to be hungry. No water will be provided. Budget airline, Mari. No water, no meals, no air conditioning. Are you ready to come in this car? Appa. Swamiji is saying, Suvayana unavudan sukamana vaalkayil manamadangum yenbadu undi para madamaye agum yendru undi para. You can't book a budget airline hoping that you will get all the stuff there. Hoping that you get a 3-course meal there and everything will be taken care, etc. It's a budget airline. And you have to be ready to tighten your belt. Tighten your stomach also if required. So here he is saying, with this lovely food and very comfortable life, when we are nourishing all our indriyas, how can jnana vichara happen to you? How can jnana margam happen? So even the jnana vehicle, another lovely vehicle, subtle mind-powered vehicle, we have to miss it because we are not fit for it, most of us. Then our Swamiji says, all these vehicles should start from a depot. We have to get into all this vehicle. He says there is a depot which is the proper depot. Depot now bus terminus, taxi stand. And the depot the depot itself is not to be found somewhere. He says that depot is called Dharma depot. You see, the Samanya Dharma depot or the Samanya Dharma terminus itself is missing. So where will you catch a vehicle from there? Vehicle needs a small stand or a terminus for it to start. Now the terminus structure itself is gone. So he is saying, even this terminus busing in the so varnam vannamachu, ashramam solayachu, podu dharmam poyachu, undi para சாத்திரத்தாலாவதென்ன உந்தி பர. The vannam ஆச்சுன்றார் இல்லையா, அந்த ஆச்சுங்கிறதுக்கு கரெக்ட் சான்ஸ்கிரிட் டேர்ம் இஸ் அலம். அலம் தீர்த்தைஹி, அலம் விரதைஹி, அலம் ஞான கதாலாபைஹி, bhakti ekaiva muktida. Alamna ach. So whenever somebody is getting food in South India, especially in Tamil Nadu, the Tanjavur Pakalna, when they actually keep putting food, finally when they want ach, which means alam, enough nartha. So here he is saying varnam vannam ach, it became vannam, adunala ennachu ach pochu. Vannam ach, ashramam solai ach. You see, normal meaning is it ashramam means just a lovely park for people now. Ashramna. Ashramam is our stage of life. Varnam is the occupation. Our innate tendency and that occupational tendency. Adallam pochu. Vannam idella pesadendra. Podu dharmam, normal satyam, the saucham, tapas, daya, compassion or penance or truth or cleanliness, purity, gone. So now the basic depot or the basic terminus for all these vehicles, without that, how can any vehicle start from anywhere? So, adhe pochund. So now we are caught in a road is there. Nobody can do anything about it. We are caught there. But then none of these vehicles doesn't even have a starting point. The terminus is terminated. Now what do we do? And then our Guruji says, there is a wonderful circular bus and the group on the bus. The big bus, you don't have to go alone. You come with a company, that bus will take minimum the group ticketing. And the bus bhakti, that's called a bhakti bus. It is actually powered by Bhagavan himself. Bhakti na Bhagavan dana power. Like Surya Bhagavan, it is powered. But what happens, for our solar panel on the bus to work, sunlight should come and hit that solar panel. Dark foreboding clouds of commercialization has completely covered that sun, it seems. Even though the sun is there, even though the sun can power this bus, in between the source and the power to actually feel that source of power, there has been dark clouds of commercialization. So even that is not going to help at all. And what is that? Kovilum Tirthamum Vyabharamana Pin Kudi Kudi Povadal Undi Para Undrum Payanillai Undi Para. So they said, when even all this Kovilla, Bhagavan is there. But then even that commercialization is overshadowing that divine presence there. So he's saying, now we have one more path. And it is called the Uber taxi Mari. He will take you wherever you want to. Out of gratitude, you have to pay him if he takes you to the right place. Yar ivana pujai purohitam Puranam ivayallam panatir kendra pin undi. Puja or purohitam or Purana Pravachanam, etc., are for our own spiritual development and also as a service to people who happen to take that service. It is supposed to be a service, and whatever is given is accepted. Puja, Purohitam, Puranam. When you do puja, we should feel so blessed that I am actually submitting my life in worshipping Bhagavan, and what a great bhagyam that it's also a source of livelihood. Whatever comes, I will take Bridam Puja. Which means, if I am called for a puja at home, I do puja. If I am not called for puja at home, I do my own home puja. Puja is my tojil. Tojil nama sankirtanam yen tojil. Whether people call me for bhajana or not, if I continue doing bhajana at my house, and somebody calls, please do bhajana, I do bhajana. They give sambhavana, I take it home, no problem. This is the Madhukara Vritti for such people. And next, Ade Mari Purohitam. Purohitam na, we are serving Veda Mata. We are all children of Veda Mata. We are the children of Agama Mata. We are all children of the Shastras. And thankfully, we are serving our mother. And in the course of serving, I am also running my livelihood with whatever being offered to me. And that is pure Purohitam. Dhanam. Yadrichya Labha Santushtaha. And if you get what Yadrichya Labha, if whatever comes on its own accord, without me demanding, whatever comes, and I'm happy with it, na Tejo Vardate, says Vamana Bhagavan. Our Tejas, our inner spiritual luminance is enhanced when we are living with Yadrichya Labha Santushta. Yadrichya means that which comes on its own accord by Krishna Kripa. Labha means whatever is added to us. Santushta means I'm contented. That's how these three were supposed to be. You see? And there are many great people who do puja because of love of Bhagavan. I know it. I know in America, there are many Bhattacharyas and pujaris who really want to do it for serving Bhagavan, for serving Sanatana Dharma. Pranams to them. They are real Purohitas here. I have seen in America, where they do it not for money, but they are concerned that there is Sanatana Dharma, I need to serve it. Pranams to all of them. And to this day, of course, I know many Pauranikas who do Purana Katha as a penance. They do it because Veda Mata has said, Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam na pramatitavyam. Whether people listen or not, they will keep talking. And why? It's my tojil, it's my swarupam. This is what I am supposed to do for my own spiritual uplift. If nobody calls me to tell Purana, I will be doing it in my own heart. Danur Slokata Pathand, Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam Pramatitavyam. People are there. Adudha, Puja, Purohitam, Puranam, all great vrittis, alla Mahabhagyam. But if it is purely for Artham, not for Dharmam, forget Moksham. At least Puja, Purohitam, Puranam, Dharmatukku irundhalavadu parava. Which means I will do it in a very fair means, just means. I will do it because it's the right thing to do. First level. Second level, it's Moksha Margam. I do puja for doing Moksha. Don't think everybody who comes and do puja are doing it for money. No, there are many Mahatmas who do that. Why? Because they love that Bhagavan. So I want to do it in Bhagavan. There was one such Mahatma who was called by a person who had a lovely Ramachandra photo in his home. And he said, can you please do puja because we don't know how to do it properly. It came from our ancestors. Ramachandra, what beautiful. Pattabi Ramar. And that Mahatma loved that Ramar. So he came and did puja. He said only one thing. He said, when I do puja, I know when I will start, but I don't know when I will end. You should not please come and disturb me. He said, Arada, Fannanga puja. That Mahatma was a Rama Bhaktana. Constantly 24/7, he was in the thought of Ramachandra Prabhu. So once when he was doing Archana for Ramachandra Prabhu, that day, one Namavali came, Bhakta Vatsala Yei Namaha, no Namavali. In Ramachandra Ashtotra Shatanamali, it said Bhakta Vatsala Yei Namaha. He took a flower in his hand, it seems, and then his hands started shaking. Eyes started shedding tears of joy, and his throat was choked. Bhakta Vatsala Yei Namaha. Immediately he remembered Bhakta Vatsala, Bhakta Vatsala. That Bhakta Vatsala, who actually included Guha as a part of his family. How much love you have for Bhaktas. Bhakta Vatsala Yei Namaha. He put a flower. And it took about 10 minutes for him to come out of Guha Sakyam in Ramayana. Then Bhaktavatsalaye Namaha, he remembered an old lady, Pati, who used to be an hunter. And she found Guru Krupa. And when Ramachandra Prabhu came, that Ramachandra Prabhu never used to take anything from anybody, took the fruit from her and ate it. Bhaktavatsalaye Nama Shabari. And he remembered that Bhaktavatsalaye Nama, another 10 minutes crying. And then finally, he remembered Vibhishana Swami. From the enemy camp, he came and says, Sarvaloka Sharanyaya, Raghavaya Mahatmane Bhaktavatsala. You said that even if his brother comes, you will include him in your family. Krishna, Ramachandra Prabhu, how much Bhaktavatsala you are. He offered that flower, went into Samadhi. Now people around him thought he is now going to foretell, Kuri. So people started bothering him. Will my son pass this? Will my ailment get over, etc.? He could not bear it. He stopped coming there. So don't think puja don't think that it's all only for money people do. People do it out of love for Bhagavan. You see? But then if it is for money, fine. And adhe mari purohitam. Whenever we have to do all the karma, smartha karma, etc., when we actually understand it's a Vedic path, be proud about the path. It is my Sanatana Dharma path. I'm happy that somebody is following that path. I will enthuse them. I will show them, make them have faith in it. When you do that, then what happens is people will also have faith. How people will have faith? Only by the character of a person, quality of a person who is still doing all this. So our Swamiji says, if Purohitam also becomes money, then it is payan in life, ivatra. Payan, what is the use? In fact, it's going to be only adverse effect. Finally, Purana. When we actually tell Purana, we should have, Purana should be told in a way that everybody gets trust in the Kripa of Bhagavan. Bhagavan Kripa ila nambika varthukudam Purana. Satyam. It is Satyam that Bhagavan is Kripalu. Each Purana, each Bhakta Vijayam, each Itihasa talks about the Kripa of Bhagavan. If that is the message, and when we soak into that Kripa, when we are convinced about the Kripa, and then we tell Purana, it will add some value to me, to you. So here, if it is for money, then it may be tainted. So our Swamiji says, if only puja veno, purohitam veno, Purana veno, we need all this. But Swamiji is pained when it is not done with the right intent. That's what it is. If it is the intent is forgotten, then what happens is useless of it. And then comes the final thing. Generally, the sadhana vehicles which I told, whether it is the Purohita sadhana vehicle or yoga sadhana, or whether it is bhakti sadhana vehicle, or whether it is karma sadhana vehicle, there has to be a board, there has to be a little lights, etc., to make it little attractive. And to make the journey enthusiastic, there will be music, entertainment channel, so that you don't feel the tiredness of the journey. Now, what happens? These are only supports. We have to take a flight from Chennai, come to Houston for whatever purpose. We have 18 hours flight. Some music, entertainment. Now, what happened was they looked at the list. Super, sir. Flight, please don't take off at all. Let me finish all this here. Now, that entertainment which was supposed to be a support to make our core journey a little enjoyable, now has no longer supported. We have forgotten the journey. Now I want only the entertainment. We are completely made that which is added as a flavor as our core food. And forgot the rice and our health. You see, achar. He is holding that achar called acharam. You see, but he is forgetting penance, sadhana. What happens? Sadhana vina. So all these very procedures, we have rites, rituals, and all the celebrations. Celebrations, it is an addition. That should not be the core. The real core here is bhakti. The real core is jnanam. Real core is vairagyam. Alankaram should not cover the person. Alankara edo konjam konjam potta orediya mooditaan vechuko. Avladha adu paaka seikalena bilam pannalam. But this is a beautiful thing. Sadhana is beautiful. It has to be only adorned minimum. so that it adds a little flavor. So here Swamiji says, Sadangam Sampradayamamna, what it really means, all the celebrations we do, the little social aspects of it. I will tell you an example. There was a Radha Kalyanam. Radha Kalyanam is an Atmartha celebration of Krishna Bala Leela. It is Bala Radha, Bala Krishnan. We are doing Anukaranam of these two children played. Earlier days, children used to be very innocent. Na? So when a little boy, little girl are there, na, they used to say, they have no idea what they are playing. You see? And there, because they go to a marriage and they see, oh, Mapla Ragar Kare, Punna Ragar Ke, and somebody is lighting a flower and he says, and now this little boy says, I will be the Pandit Ji here. Hey, you become the Mapla. Hey, Nivadi, sit down. You will be the Punne. And both of you, ni Nathana Raidu, ni Mamanar. The whole point is not to forget Bhagavan, Brindavanam, Bhagavan, Hridayam, Radha Prem. Idukudane. Enna aidutuna? Sadangam Sampradayamam Sadhanekanga. All this celebration is for us to have that Smarana, Sukha Smarana of Radha Krishna Yugalam. In one place when we did it, they said, we all did all this. The Sambandhi Sunday ki party liyan get out. You know what it means? The in-laws fight to go party venuma. They said, what are you talking about? No, we never missed that. No, every gaili kuta vedutela. That which we added a little flavor, a little song, Araga Mala Matarde, and over Mangalya Dharana, Ashtapati Por, Manasla Murchella. But we added Sadanga Sampradayam, Uru Bhagavata, Prachina Bhagavata, Radha Kalyana Sampradayam, etc. We added as a flavor so that we can relish the Smarana of Radha Krishna Yugala Circle even better. But know what happens in the Laukika. Then just like how in a marriage, the in-laws fight with each other, bring in an in-laws fight, then sadhana veena poch. Now people taya takana gudikirale thavara bhakti illiye. Adinala our Swamiji is saying, you may jump around, do all that, but bhakti venume. The whole thing is for bhakti only, na. It's not for another fun. So we have to be very careful that the supports or angam or auxiliaries should not become the core, and the core should not be forgot. So here Sadanga Sampradayam na kondat, when we celebrate Utsavam, for Krishna's Smaranataka Utsavam, add a little fun here and there. Fun should not be the main. Radha Krishna are forgotten. Then sadhane veenagam, whole thing is a waste. Adinalada, whenever we go for any Tiruvila, etc., generally when you go for an Atmartha Utsavam, it will be Atmartha Utsavam. There will be bhajana. There will be a lot of kirtanam. There will be Vishnu Organancha, Nrityancha, Natanancha Visheshata. There will be Archanam. There will be Puja. There will be Parayanam. There will be Pravachanam. So if you go to Madhurapuri during any Utsavam, 10 days you can't remember anything. Earlier days, newspaper were not there. A newspaper was not allowed. Phones were not allowed. You see. So we actually we don't know what day it is. I'm talking about 93, 94, 95 time frame, where we didn't have mobile phones. And there was only one landline. We have no idea what happens outside. When we go to a Brahmotsav in Madhurapuri, the only way we know about dates is because even calendars won't be there. Today is Yana Vahanam day. Today is Garuda Vahanam day. We mark our calendar. We don't even know Tingal Chavva Ilandriyas. We know in Ekadasi, tomorrow is Yana Vahanam because Dvadasi, there will be Govinda Pattabhishekam. And the next day will be Nikunjotsavam. That's how the time was. Time was no longer column. The time has become Divyam for us. So when you celebrate, when you do Divya Namam, he Gopal and Panna Jammanar. Even when some artist comes and sings, earlier days, the artist knows the Bhava. So every song he picks would be in line with the Radha Krishna Yugala Prema Bhava. And they are all sharp people. So even the art was a support. Dance was a support. Food was also support. Ekadasi or food. When there is a Jana Vasam, or extra sweet. So that we feel happy. Angam. You see. And Radha Kalyanam, there will be a small little Vetala Pakalam Vichi Kuduthu. Or Angam. Like you actually celebrate your child's marriage, we celebrate like. Pradhana we did. But then, if you go to some other Tiruvila, We need to support all art forms, no doubt. Adila Devigam should not be missed. The divinity should not be missed. Poikal Kudra adum, Karagatam arum, alla adatum. Poikal Kudra is also Vedanta. Karagatam is Vedanta. Ella Vedanta. All the so-called folk arts have Vedantic basis in India. But we should not forget divinity when we do all that. You see? So our Swamiji is telling us, rather warning us, Sadangum Sampradayamum Sadhanaiki Angamam Angamadigamanal Undi Para Sadhanai Vinagum Endrundi Para. If the auxiliaries and support systems overgrow the core is forgotten. Kondatam. You see? Earlier days, for us to remember about Papam, Punyam, etc., during Vaikunta Ekadasi, they do what is called as a Paramapadam. They will do a small snakes and ladders came from that Paramapada. The whole idea was to remember Dharma and keep chanting while you play snake and ladders. So each block has a Papam, a Punyam. When you get a Punyam, you can go up as a ladder. If you do Papam, you will come back to where you are, Samsara. And the biggest Papam 99 la irukku. When you go to 100 home, Veedu na Vaikunta. 99th snake is the pride that I am very spiritual. That I am very spiritual. Why are these people not following spiritual patham tonuma? That is what Saubhagamada Maryats. And when that comes, you have to fall down. You see? And so you have to be careful about that. So the snake and ladder itself was a very subtle way to enforce Dharma. And people used to chant Narayana Nama while they played. Now slowly, people didn't understand the blocks. So only blocks were there, snake ladders, Dayakatam was there, and then at least people were chanting while playing. Now Adum Poch. In Kali, Dharmam will be there in some form, but Dharma won't be Dharma. The Angas will become big. And the core will be forgotten. That's what is Kali's problem. The Dharmam irkamadri irkum. And very beautifully our Padma Purana says, just like how when you have a grain of rice, it has a husk and it has a grain. And together it is called a grain, isn't it? In Kali what happens? The grain will be lost, husk will remain in name of Dharma. And although many times when people ask our Swamiji, he did so much Dharma, why is he suffering? Swamiji said, if he's a Dharmatma, he can't suffer. If he's suffering, neenga edhu dharmam solrelo adu dharmame illa pola. You see, I'll give you an example. Suppose on Ekadasi you do Annadanam. Dharmama, adharmama. Theriyuma? Theriyado, no? So dharmam is not as simple as we think. You see, the path of dharma is very subtle. We need Acharya Purushas and Mahatmas to tell us what is dharma. Just because our intellect says is dharma may not be dharma. You see. So we have to be very careful about it. And that's why he said that in Dharma, even if your intent is right, it does not give us an excuse to not use our intellect to understand what is the purport of this Dharma. What is the purport? What is the basic intention? You should be clear. Otherwise, we won't differentiate between Angam and Sadhana. Dharma has two parts. The core, auxiliary. Why I'm spending so much time on this is we need that discernment. Ilana, we think we have done Dharma and we have done something, not Dharma. After 10 years, you have to be careful. You see, whether it is Pujai, Purohitam, Puranam, Bhajana, whatever it is, Dharmam na core, Bhakti irka, Bhavam irka, Bhavam illaya, Hare Rama Sulupar. Bhavam illada Bhajanai yeno Bhakti illada Bhajanai vine. When you want to sing nice kirtans na bhavatoda. How do we get the bhava? By listening. Shravanam gives us the bhava. Listen to lot of Bhagavatam. Do Swadhyayam. Do Bhagavata Parayanam. Listen to Ramayanam. Do Swadhyayam. Listen to Bhakta Charitram. Do Swadhyayam. And then when you sing that song, you see. And music is an angam. It is actually an auxiliary so that we can feel that bhava. That's why every Madhura Geetam comes with the corresponding raga which supports the bhava. Bhava na the inner feeling, emotion of divinity. But if it is not there, summa oru vilayatti keli kindal na, மகாமந்திரத்தை கிண்டல் அடிச்சுன்னு சொன்னா கூட it will work. ஏன்னா சாங்கேத்தியம் பாரியாசம் ஸ்தோபம் ஹேளனம் ஏவவா, that is only for நாம ஜபா மகாமந்திர கீர்த்தனம். பட் ஃபார் அதர் கிரேட் மகாத்மாஸ் கீர்த்தன்ஸ்னா பாவமோட, அதுதான் பஜனைக்கு அங்கம். அண்ட் அதனாலதான் ஐம் சேயிங் தர்மத்துடைய சூக்ஷ்மம், தர்மாஸ் அங்கம். அங்கம் மீன்ஸ் ஆக்சிலரி. பி கிளியர். பஜனையே இருக்கட்டும், புராணமே இருக்கட்டும், வாட் இஸ் த கோர், வாட் இஸ் அங்கம்? Angam is, I need to spice up some core concepts in Purana, so I give some anecdotes. Core is Saram of Bhagavata. Saram enna? Bhagavad Gunanubhavam. Adu Saram. To support that, you can take from Bhakta Charitram some day-to-day work, etc. Or in a spice. Spice should not be the core food. Na? That's what Swamiji is. Since we are talking Kali Dharmam, it will appear like Dharmam, but use a little discernment. Then you will see what it is. So he is saying, Sadangum, that's what we saw. Sadanga, Sampradaya, all the rites, rituals, and our various celebrations, tradition, etc. Sadhanaike Angamam. Sadhanai means the core, the principle for which it has been put in. It is important. Don't leave the life of it. Then hold on to something which is not significant or important or vital. Angamadigamanal undi para Sadhanai veenagum undi. Bhagavan understood all this. So karma vehicle you will miss. Why? You don't have the fuel. Indhanam illiye, draviyam illiye. And next vehicle, yoga vehicle, moochu vaangirudhu utru. And then came jnana vehicle. We need nice, comfortable life. We can't give up comforts properly. Okay. Bhakti vehicle, even that if sampradaya, etc. becomes more than sadhana, become a problem. Bhagavan said, each of these vehicle demanded something which you can't afford or bear. Final option is you just wait in the road. You wait for me. I will come and pick you up. Naan apre shuttle. Enna shuttle na Sharanya shuttle. Bhagavan said, if you are a Sharanagatan, or if you are a person who have done Sharanagati, I will send a shuttle. Tesham aham samuddarta nritya samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya vesha jetasa. But then Bhagavan expected only one thing. Summa nillu. You see?